Hey, before we get into today's episode, if you're a podcast host or guest, listen up. I've produced over 200 podcast episodes and guested on 50 podcasts just in 2025 alone. And let me tell you, nothing grows your audience or builds trust faster than being in front of the right listeners. That's why I created my podcast tour offer. I'll help you map out your topics, strategize your message, and find you the most aligned podcasts and audiences to get you and your business in front of. So if you've ever thought, I just wish more eyes were on my work, this is your sign. Let's get you on a podcast tour. You can find all the details in the show notes. Just look for podcast tour. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back for a solo episode. I've been meaning to do a Q&A podcast episode for a while. I have about 5 questions that people have sent in on Threads. And the first one is from Laura at Lucky Laura. Is it okay to go off script, or how much is acceptable, or is this a conversation ahead of time? And I'm assuming she's talking about when you've actually booked the show and you're on the show, how far off script is it okay to go? I always say let the podcast host of that show lead that conversation. Give pauses when you're talking and breaks so that they can interject, and they will usually lead you wherever is best for their show. They know their audience more than you do. Obviously, it's their show. And so let them kind of be the driver of that. But I personally, on my own show, I never am afraid of veering off script, because I always start a podcast episode with that guest saying, we're going to just trust whatever comes out today. Somebody needed to hear. And that's what podcasting has been for me from the get-go. And so I sort of live by that even now. So it is acceptable. Does it benefit you to stick to your niche? Yes, because that's how, when you get done with the episode, you're going to be top of mind for that specific thing, your specific niche, your area, your industry, whatever it might be. You want to be top of mind because that host is going to be asked by people in their network, who do you know that does XYZ? You want to be top of mind when they get asked that. If you go too much off script, start sharing lots of different other offers or tips that don't match up, then that's where I think it can be an error. If off script means you guys went down a deep rabbit hole of something about your stories that matched or your journey, I think that's completely different. When you go off script and just kind of get messy about the topic and you're like, oh, well, I want to share this tip and I want to share that tip. We're getting away from that specific topic that you started talking about, that your offers are in, that your speaking topics are on. I think that's where you're going to end the episode, and you might give like more of a generalist vibe, not really going to get those referrals, not going to be top of mind. So hopefully that answers both sides of the coin. If you're just down a great conversation about your story or a belief you have, I love that. There's a time and place for that. Let the podcast host drive that. Okay, question number 2, kind of similar, but it's more so before you book the show, from Jen at Assigned Financial Solutions. Is it best to have suggested talking points framework when pitching to guests on podcasts? 100%. This is what I teach my clients and what I pull out their speaking topics for them. I deep dive into their business. But if you're going to do this on your own, you're DIYing it, 100% you need talking points. Not necessarily just talking points. So to me, that's like mapping out your episode. But before that, even before the talking points you're thinking of, you need an overarching speaking topics. What the whole episode is generally going to fall under this specific umbrella, because that getting presented to a host is so much different than just reaching out to a host saying, I love your podcast, I'd love to be a guest, where it leaves the host like, well, okay, now I got to figure out how to weave you in or figure out what your niche is. Just share what those speaking topics are. Then as a host, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, number 2, I need that on my show. My audience would love that. Or can we do a combination of 1 and 3, your topic 1 and 3? If you don't have that, what a lot of people that I work with say, oh, I never even thought to start with that. And usually they enjoyed speaking on podcasts, but they didn't see any measurable growth after, and they felt like they couldn't talk about their business or it didn't naturally come up. That's because you didn't have a clear speaking topic. And a lot of times people don't even think about presenting those to the host first, which is an error, because now you don't know what you're going to be asked and it might not fall within your expertise, and then you just can feel uncomfortable, and then it's hard to weave in your business. Whereas if your speaking topic is dead on, it's easy to reference things that have worked for clients or common things you see, and then that makes it so easy to share that you are a business and that you work in this space. Okay, next question from Amber at the Amber Hansel. After the episode has aired, what are ways to continue to be in their space and stay connected? I assume you mean like the host or their audience, but the audience is hard because you don't know who's listening unless they've come and followed you. The host is so easy to stay in contact with. And honestly, this is one of the most important parts afterwards. If you really jived with that host and you had a great experience with them, stay in contact. Just be each other's biggest fan on social media. When their expertise is asked about on Threads or wherever you see it, tag them and say, you got to talk to this person, because they're going to return that favor. And they're going to be people that get asked for referrals all the time. People know podcast hosts, know people, and have networks because of the platform we have. We have to have deep conversations with people, especially if we have guest episodes. And so that alone makes that person a very good person to stay in contact with. Obviously, if you didn't like them or you didn't match up with them, then move on. Find the ones that you were like, you got done with the recording. You're like, oh my gosh, that was the fastest hour of my day. That was wonderful. Stay in contact with those people. There's possible collaborations and things down the line you don't even know about, not to just mention referrals. Like there's so much beyond that. What if they host a summit? What if they host an event and they're like, you need to come and be a speaker? It can just change the course of a lot of things. So just stay in contact with those people. But that's what I would do first to get in their space. It's just be a human and connect. And when you get on social media, be intentional about go finding those people. Find that host, check in on their page, cheer them on, comment on something, like something, give them a shout out on Threads. There's endless things and it's just easy to do that. Okay, here's one from Erica at EC Virtual Services. What are some tips for pitching clients to be a guest on a podcast? So you should just get into my podcast matchmaking community. I have a whole training on this as well as a script in there in the resource tab, but that's a free community for hosts and guests to get together. Basically, each one fills out a form sharing what speaking topics they're either looking for their show or that they speak on and how they want to be contacted. And so then people can just jump right in. So that is a way to sort of skip that cold pitching. But my best tip is to keep it short, send it as DM. Unless, of course, you're pitching a huge production show, then email is going to be how they communicate. That's going to be the standard. But when it's an independently run show or there's a VA or there's an editor or something, send the DM to the host. Make it short, make it sweet. Be a human, show you've done your homework. You've listened to their show. That's what that means. Don't just copy and paste the title of an episode. It's really easy to spot. We get bad pitches as hosts through our emails from PR agencies and such, daily, weekly, all the time. The other thing is then list out your niche speaking topics, send them over, say, I know I could bring a lot of value to your show with one of these 3 topics. Does anyone sound like a fit? Let them say yes or no. And just trust that if your speaking topics are on point and they say no, then that means that that's good. That's not going to waste your time. That audience isn't looking for that. But if they say yes, then it's going to be super aligned and well worth your time and a huge bang for your buck, because time is so limited and we don't want to be just everywhere and anywhere without having that alignment. So 2 things in the pitch: show you've done your homework, share the value you plan to bring. Okay, and the last question from at Dear Nina Friendship. And she wrote, why do people's publicists pitch me multiple times even though I have already politely passed? Did they not keep a basic chart? So I just giggle at this and I thought it was worth sharing, because this is why I tell my clients, 1, it's going to save you so much time than going the email route, but 2, just send it in a DM and be short and sweet and be a respectable, human, genuine being with a heart. Because these PR people are pitching and sending emails. And if you are this, I'm so sorry, but like, don't pitch male realtors to be on a mompreneur show, right? It's an ick. And then a lot of them, the standard is that they're following up like within 12 hours and you're getting another email, and it's just like, holy smokes, I haven't even gotten to the first email that you sent. So I giggle, but it's just a good example of what not to do. And a lot of the shows that you're pitching, because you're listening to this show, I'm guessing are independently run or like mine. I record it, I edit it, I publish it, I write the show note, I do all of it. And that's so true for so many others. And maybe they have like an assistant or something, but for the most part, we're in deep with our shows. And so just be a human. That's all we are on the other end. Think about how you would want to be contacted and how you'd want your business, your podcast to be treated. So there you have it. Okay. Q&A. Those were good. I loved it. If you have questions after this, send me a DM. I would love to do more episodes like this so that I can actually hit and answer the things that you are wondering. All right. Catch you next Tuesday. Hey, before you go, if you've ever wished podcast guesting or hosting felt a little easier, you're going to love this. I started a free podcast matchmaking community where hosts and guests can actually connect, swap shows, and find aligned conversations without all the cold pitching and chaos. It's totally free, it's super fun, and it's growing every day. So whether you're looking to grow your audience, get in front of the right people, or just finally get your message out there, come join us. You can find the link in the show notes to join the community.